What up, Raffalitas? Welcome back to my channel. This is Sheriff Street. We're actually at the traffic circle. We are at the traffic circle on Sheriff Street. So that's Sheriff Street north towards the Atlantic Ocean. That's the train line road. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning, by the way. That's the Lagos Heights. And here back we are back at Sheriff Street South. Sheriff Street, which becomes Mandela Avenue once you go past the Botanical Gardens. So why am I here? I'm actually here to show you this traffic circle. This traffic circle was under construction the last time I was in this neck of the woods, last time I was here. They had torn up the ground and were beginning to lay these tiles. So they've built a large traffic circle. That's a train line road headed southwest into Georgetown, right? That's where the train usually ran. So if you look along the line of these lamp posts, right? You're looking at a line of lamp posts on the southeast side of that line where the cars are traveling, left in this image. That's the road that they've completed. They actually resurfaced and widened the train line. On the other side of the lamppost is what I was expecting to be another lane, another pair of lanes, but they didn't complete that. And that was because why I expected that to happen is because there was a plan to widen this line. This is the train line road. We're now heading in the opposite direction, east. Right, the train line road heads east, and the plan is to widen this road headed east to make it into a 4-lane road instead of what it is now, dual carriageway, 1 lane heading east and 1 lane heading west. Now they are, of course, every tropical city, animals. So this is a horse, somebody's horse, let loose on the road. In fact, there were a group of them, about 4 horses, 3 or 4 horses when I came. This one is just left behind, the others I think went up the road. So why am I here to show you this traffic circle? To show you how it operates here at 6 a.m. in the morning, and to show you what's happening on Sheriff Street. Somebody challenged my comparison of Sheriff Street to Queens Avenue in Queens Boulevard in Queens, New York. And the reason why I'm comparing Sheriff Street to Queens Boulevard is because, like Queens Boulevard, it is a major artery, major route through the city, and it is a commercial street. So it's growing into what is one of the major commercial streets. I don't compare it to, say, Rodeo Drive. It's not a Rodeo Drive. It's a lot more like Sunrise Highway if you live on Long Island and drive Sunrise Highway on the South Shore into Queens. You know, so there are stores, gas stations, and hotels, apartment buildings on either side of the street. So the comparison is just a utilitarian comparison to show you that if you want to relate to this neck of the woods and you are from New York, a good comparison is to think about how Queens Boulevard relates to the rest of Queens, or how Sunrise Highway. So it's a relationship comparison. Somebody else said, you know, Guyanese are too foreign-minded. Why are you comparing Guyana to foreign countries, to the US, to Canada? In some of these videos, they actually make analogies about, for example, the development happening on the back road or happening on Mandela Avenue, the bypass road, to what was happening in Ontario back in the early mid-90s, 2000s. That's because a lot of Guyanese live abroad, live in the US and Canada and the UK, and so that kind of comparison allows them to relate to what is happening compared to something that is local, right? So it's not as simple as saying Guyanese are too foreign-minded, and the comparison is reinforcing the notion that Guyanese are foreign-minded. It's in fact a way to communicate to people who live abroad what is happening, the changes that are happening here in Guyana. So that's what's happening here. This is what has happened at this intersection of Sheriff Street and the Train Line Road. And of course, this is David Street, which goes through Kitty, eventually runs into the public road. In fact, this neighborhood immediately west of where I'm standing, that's the Bryanville. And somebody else wanted to know what's happening with Sheriff, because in one of or several of the videos I've filmed recently, I showed Sheriff housing development in Providence. There's Sheriff building a shopping center and a hospital on the bypass road. And here is Sheriff Medical Center. Right, Sheriff Medical Center. Here's a group of Venezuelans. Right, so Venezuelans and Cubans are here in Guyana. So that's another topic for a different video. People want to know what's happening with Venezuelans. Are Venezuelans invading Guyana? Is Venezuela going to invade Guyana? The fact is, if you live here in Guyana, you're now used to seeing lots and lots and lots and lots of foreign nationals. We don't call them aliens in Guyana. We call them visitors and neighbors. So a lot of people have migrated to the Sheriff. We're talking about Sheriff group, right? The passing Venezuelans allowed me to take a detour. I'll come back to that topic in a second. But this is the Sheriff group. This is Sheriff Medical Center, and right next door to it there is Sheriff Dental, and there's a Sheriff pizza parlor and restaurant. So Sheriff is a group of companies or group of investors who have invested in a variety of areas in Guyana. Major area they've invested in is in security, so they have their own security guard company. Talked to a girl on Rob Street who is working for Sheriff Security Company. They have a medical center from which they send out ambulances. They have a housing development in Providence. They're building a shopping mall, a shopping center. They're building another hospital, and so on. So I'm going to make a video. Somebody asked me to make a video on the Sheriff group. I'll probably do that in the near future. I'm also going to make a video on who the major players are in Guyana. We know some of the major names. you can go to the Guyana Stock Exchange website. It's gasci.com, GASCI.com, and you'll see the 15 companies that are registered on the Guyana Stock Exchange. Those are the major players. They include Banks DIH, DDL, Caribbean Containers, and so on. Sheriff Group is not there, right? There's Bawal Singh Hospital and their investments in healthcare. There is Bobby Ramroop and his connections with the ruling political party and their investments. And there's Buddy Shivraj. So all of these are the major players. Buddy Shivraj is in fact the group that owned that high-rise building on 5th Street, here on Sheriff Street, in Cummings, in Campbellville, 5th Street, Campbellville. Somebody wanted a review of 4th Street and then do that in a future video. So these are the major players, right? There is the Hari Group, which owns, or which is a major shareholder in GBTI, Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry, and they have their own manufacturing companies and food manufacturing and so on. You know, there is the Clifford Reese and his company, which is Banks DIH, and all their investments. Their bank is Citizens Bank. There is Visu Prasad, he's now deceased, and his bank is Demerara Bank, and so on. So these are the major players. I'm going to make a video explaining who the major players are in the economy in Guyana, who are the major movers and shakers, and their connections to the political scene. Somebody also asked me for a video of the history of politics in Guyana. I kind of tried to stay away from politics, but I think there's now need for me to explain for the general public the state of politics and the history of politics in Guyana and why things are the way they are. I'm going to do that in a separate video. So that's what's happening, guys. This is what's coming up as I take a detour. Right, this morning I was actually going to go to Ogle and show you what's happening with that new bypass road that they were building. I'm curious to see how far it's come and see exactly where they're connecting it to the east coast, right? This East Coast bypass road at Ogle. It's going to connect to that traffic circle, which they're now calling the Mandela Eccles Peters Hall interchange. Mandela Eccles Ogle Peters Hall interchange. So we want to see what's happening with that, and we're going to come up with updates in that neck of the woods. I also wanted to show you some interesting developments in the community of industry, and we'll see that hopefully later on this week. But that's what's up, guys. That's why I stopped at this intersection, to explain to you the connection between the videos that I'm making and the direction that the city is taking. This is how Georgetown is changing. Those of you who lived here will not recognize it from what it was 30 or 40 years ago. It's still far away from what it has to be, right? For example, this is where a lot of people still live, but this is how new people, that is new money, lives. And we're gonna investigate that gap between the growing gap between the rich and the poor in this fastest growing economy in the world. So that's what's up, guys. That's what's happening here in this neck of the woods. If you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe. In the comments below, tell me what you want to see in future, right? What are some of the topics you want me to cover in future videos, because I'm going to do that systematically going forward. Share this video with friends and family around the world. Let people know what's happening here on Sheriff Street in the fastest growing country in Guyana, in the world. Fastest growing economy in the world. Later.